What I really hate about film is when something like this comes out and tries to seem like it's better than it really is. This movie comes out and yeah, everyone's gonna love it. Everyone thinks it's so amazing, even though it's probably 1/3 of the movie that's good, the ending. The rest of the movie is just really boring. It has a bunch of really dumb fan service moments that were put in probably after they had to do some reshoots, finding that the movie was too boring. C-3PO and R2-D2 just show up for no reason. The guys from the Mos Eisley Cantina also show up, and I'm like, why are they even on this planet? Why are you showing me this right now? There's no character development. There's nothing interesting going on. And I just cannot believe that all the Star Wars fans are gathering around this film like it's great because, oh, it's a great war film. Yeah, but that doesn't make it automatically good just because it's somewhat different from other Star Wars films. And even then, it's really not that different from anything we've gotten. This was a pointless film that takes place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope that didn't need to exist. Oh wait, that's not Solo, that's Rogue One. Oh. Yeah, that's right, guys. Oh. What's that? Roll up a piece of paper. I don't know where that came from. Yes, Solo came out. It is now the second film derived from the Star Wars universe that doesn't have to do with the main series. That is, if you don't include the Clone Wars from 2008, but who saw that movie again? That's still canon, I guess. That's really weird. Anyway, Solo comes out, and of course people are already kind of on the edge about it because The Last Jedi was the most controversial film of all time for some reason. After seeing that in the theaters, did not see that happening at all. I will say that Solo did not spark my interest in any way. I was very uninterested, probably like a lot of other people, in a film that had to do with Han Solo that didn't star Harrison Ford. To me, Harrison Ford is such a big part of the role, right down to the fact that Harrison Ford's a grumpy dude and Han Solo's a grumpy dude. You almost gotta think they're the same person. So it's really hard to just recast that role and just say, just buy this. And now that Solo's out, after seeing the film, I can say that the film, it succeeds. The movie does what it can with its source material. I never thought for a moment that he was Harrison Ford's Han Solo character, but he still creates his own version of the character that I can accept, especially a younger version of the character, someone who's not as experienced, someone who hasn't gone through a change yet, which this movie does show some character dynamics and relationships that could probably change Han Solo into the character that we know of in A New Hope. My pal Han Solo here, we're just telling you right now, this is a movie worthwhile. I'm telling you. I'm not a Star Wars fan, I promise. I'm telling you this completely unbiased. I think the story works, it's adventurous, they travel all over the galaxy, and it's small. It isn't meant to be a giant, spectacular epic. It's not a giant good versus evil story. It's not about the galaxy coming to an end. It has to do with Han Solo, who is a very important character to the franchise, but I feel that this movie opens the door to possibly doing other spin-off films or new films that have to do with other characters, which really excites me. I would like to see stories that go beyond the Skywalker family, which this film kind of does. It has two really great, fun, adventurous acts, and then a really strange third act. Not that it's boring, but it does some weird things, has weird cliffhangers, as if it's opening up for other movies that are either sequels or gonna be other spin-off films, potentially. And there's definitely some story beats that kind of don't work here and there, and characters that are resolved almost too quickly. Like, they're introduced and you get like, oh, this is gonna be a cool character, and they're immediately taken out of the film, which, I don't know, kind of disappointed me because a lot of them were pretty good. I was expecting a better ending, especially since the movie was doing so well in progressing itself. The Kessel Run was so epic that I expected the ending not to be as epic as the Kessel Run, but to be something large or something amazing, and there's good moments here and there. They have Paul Bettany come back and he is doing great. Woody Harrelson's doing great. They kind of make fun of the whole Han shot first thing that was done in the special edition, and they completely slapped that right in the face. I can't help but feel that the ending felt empty, maybe because they were doing some sequel baiting, but it just felt like there wasn't any catharsis for some of the characters, especially Han Solo's relationship with Kira. And maybe they're building it up for another movie, but I wish they wouldn't do that, because I'd rather get a Lando movie, which I guess you could continue this in the Lando movie, but the point is, I really felt just kind of empty. And when the credits began to roll, I was like, really, that's it? It was weird. I don't know, Lucasfilm being like, hey, you know, we kind of want to do this sequel, or we want to add this extra stuff. Can you do this? And then being like, I guess. I wasn't a fan of the bait. I really wish, especially since the villain that they do have in the film could have been a great, it could have been supplemented for the other villain that was built up at the end. Like, they could have just cut out the main villain, which, the main villain's not bad. Don't get me wrong, I loved Paul Bettany as the villain. He does a great job. Dryden Voss, I even remember his name, so that's a really good sign. I thought he was doing excellent. But when we see this cliffhanger at the end, you kind of get the feeling of, you know, you probably could have introduced this other character earlier and just had him in the movie. I think Kira's story is really great. I thought it was really subtle. They don't explain everything about it, but by the end, you really figure most of it out. It's done really extremely well. Donald Glover as Lando is amazing. He is by far the best part of this film. I heard he's coming back for some other movies. I really hope he does. There's definitely going to be moments to nitpick. I'm not going to lie. There are some really bad, even moments that I was laughing at that I'm like, this is really bad. Bad written moments, but it's Star Wars. There's always a cringy moment here and there, even in the original trilogy, so it happens. The only reason the movie suffers is, well, for one, cinematography, moments that just are not shot or put together well, some of the editing, which was, I don't know, it's like it's noticeably bad. And the lighting, it's weird. I can't explain it, and I thought maybe it was just my screen. I thought, oh, maybe it just seems really dark because the theater messed up, but then I saw it again and it was the exact same way, so I'm guessing the movie was just shot this way. It's a small movie, and it's also shot like a small movie, which I wasn't a fan of because it still is Star Wars, it's still Disney. They have a lot of money, they should be able to shoot something a little better, but that's not all that those scenes need. There's also great music, there's also great line delivery, there's great interactions, so that all saved the movie for me, especially in those moments that were really suffering in the cinematography. I was glad to see so many new creatures and so many new designs, because we were promised when the movies were being bought by Disney that they were going to do some practical effects. This movie really lives up to that because they are doing so many different kind of new creatures, not just ones that come from the original trilogy. There's so much to look at in this movie, and this is the first one that I can say that, yeah, this has that same kind of feel of something like A New Hope or really Return of the Jedi, which introduced a number of creatures. It really filled up its galaxy. And if anything that this movie did, it got me more interested in Star Wars. It makes me want to read the books. It makes me want to watch the TV shows. Maybe that was Disney's plan all along, to make sure I shove more money towards them. I've never read the books. I've never watched the TV shows. And this movie got me interested in stuff beyond that, which rarely happens. Like with Marvel, I simply stick to the movies, and I've done that with Star Wars for years, but now I'm like, I kind of want to read the books. I kind of want to know more about these characters. I want to know about the little nooks and crannies of the universe. Lawrence Kasdan is a great writer, and this definitely has the feel of his other 80s movies. I think it's got that same kind of character conversations and a great fast-paced story.
Thanks for watching the video. A special thanks to Ryan for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd like to join him and get early access to certain videos and have your name stamped on the end of videos and even request reviews monthly, then please click on the Patreon link, and thanks for the support.